that fasting has been ordained upon you just as it has been ordained upon those before you. What's fascinating about the structure of this entire passage in which Allah talks about Ramadan is He talks about fasting, the excuses for those who cannot fast, talks about the month of Ramadan, talks about the revelation of the Quran, what you can and cannot do. But there's one verse that if anyone reads it quickly will think it is out of place. And that is the verse which comes towards the ending, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. Allah is talking about Ramadan. He's talking about fasting. He says if you're sick, if you're traveling, this is what you can and cannot do. And all of a sudden there's this shift and this transition, and Allah begins to talk about dua. And the way in which Allah talks about dua is mind-blowing. He says, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. And before I translate this and show how powerful the wording and the messaging is, I just want to give you a common example. Imagine somebody is expecting guests in their home, and he says to his son, when the guests come and they knock the door, tell them I will be there shortly. Generally, if there are guests coming to my home and I'm going to be busy, I tell my son that, listen, when they're knocking on the door and they ask where I am, say I will be there shortly. So the general structure is this. When they ask where I am, say to them, I will be there shortly. But if you look at the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala phrases the dua, He says, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. When my servants ask you about me, where is Allah? How can I call to Allah? فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. I am close. Look at the difference. One is to say, when they ask about me, tell them that I will respond to their dua, which is a very long way of saying it, versus when they ask about me, I am already here. There's a huge difference over there. You know, sometimes when you want to let somebody know that you came and you text them and you say, here. You don't even say, oh, I traveled from my house, it took me this long, I'm in front of your door, this is what I need, I am in front of your door, I am here. No, you just say, H-E-R-E dot, I am here. You don't even say I am, you just say here, because you want expediency. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. Don't even need to tell them, let them know I'm already here. Why is this relevant to the month of Ramadan? Because if Allah is placing it right before and right after talking about the rulings of Ramadan, it tells us that at the heart of Ramadan is making dua and turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as I mentioned in the previous session, oftentimes our du'as are like scripted lectures. What is a scripted lecture? A person's graduating from school, he's graduating from university, so he has a speech that he wants to say, so he prepares that speech. And he stands up in front of 1,000 people in the auditorium and he says, hello, hi, today I would like to speak about my successful graduate. He doesn't have any soul or feeling into it. A dua is not a scripted speech. A dua is us speaking to Allah about what's in our heart, what is in our need and our desire. So as we're preparing for the month of Ramadan, let's remember that when Allah talks about it, He only talks about it one time in the Quran, and He dedicates an entire passage right in the middle about the importance of dua, reminding us, فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. I am here, don't turn to anyone else. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspire us to turn to Him in the month of Ramadan, before the month of Ramadan, and inculcate this beautiful habit of turning to Him in all our needs. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.